Hello, this is Delma Tronson from the Australian Missionary News, and I have with me here today Sue Spencer, who's going to tell us a little bit about her life. So Sue, can you tell me a bit about your growing up years?
Well, I was born in a little Queensland town called Cooroy, but my parents at the time were stationed overseas in a little island called Nauru. And so my mum came over to have me in Cooroy, and then we went back to Nauru. My dad was a mechanical engineer at the phosphate mine.
Yes.
And we spent another 4.5 years there, and then he'd finished his contract and came back to Brisbane, and we settled in Brisbane, and I spent the rest of my days growing up in Brisbane.
Good, wonderful. Okay, and now can you tell us a bit about your first years of work and your meeting your husband Sean?
Well, I did a university degree, a Bachelor of Business Communication, and I majored in public relations. So of course I tried to get a job in that field, which is very difficult to get into. I moved down to Melbourne and ended up working for a property development company down there, doing their brochures and secretarial work. And then what happened? And then I came back to Brisbane and got a job at a management company, a team building company, doing their marketing. I then worked for Thiess Contractors, and I worked with them until about 2000. After having children, we decided that maybe I should be a stay-at-home mum for a while.
Okay, that sounds good. And so when did you meet Sean?
Well, I actually met Sean when I was 15. My dad and his uncle were friends, and we were invited to a New Year's Eve party. And Sean was there, this blonde-haired, beautiful man. As a 15-year-old, I was smitten. So he was my prom partner at high school, and yeah.
Yeah, great. So, and then tell us about where you've lived in your 20 years of marriage, and then how you became Christian.
Okay. Well, we bought a little house in Darra, which is in Brisbane, and we lived there for 15 years. It was just a little 3-bedroom house that we basically totally renovated, pulled it all to bits and put it all back together again. Yeah, we had 3 children. After the third one, Holly, we decided that a little 3-bedroom house was way too small, and that's when we both independently came to the decision that maybe we should move. We'd owned this block of land here at Midge Point for about 10 years, and I'd never even been further north than Gympie. So we both decided that maybe it was time to sell up and do a sea change. And we really feel that it was of God, because we both independently came to the decision, and we spoke and was like, oh yes, that's my idea too.
Yeah.
And so we came up here for a 2-week vacation and camped on the block of land in the July holidays. No water, no power, and a 9-month-old baby.
Oh, lovely.
But the boys caught fish, that was the main thing. We had a bit of a battle with curlews, this strange voice in the eerie evening, and we had no idea what these birds were. Yeah. But we both decided that we did like the area, and so we made plans to sell up and move.
So when did you become a Christian?
Oh, well, I became a Christian 95. Or yeah, late 94. It was just before I got pregnant with our first Luke. I was in Toowoomba at the garden show. I was away for the weekend, and Sean was left at home. I went up with my parents, and there was a gentleman in the stall next door to the stall that my parents had, and I got chatting to him, and he was a Christian and told me all about God, and I kind of had been searching at that same time too. It's kind of like, we need to go to church, Sean, but not really knowing why or where or how. And so this gentleman hooked us up with his son and daughter-in-law who lived nearby, and they were going to this great church that had rocky music, and I thought, oh, I think I could handle that. So we came along to Christian City Church West End and just loved it and really felt at home and
Yeah. Yeah, so you've told us about your move here. So what are some of your passions in life? Like, I know you like scrapbooking, I know you love your family, so just give us some...
Well, I suppose with the scrapbooking, my whole passion with that is telling the story of our lives in the photographs and getting all the little funny things that happen in life down on paper so that, you know, we can look back. So each child, when they leave home, and Luke's leaving home the end of next year, so I've got to hurry up with his album, he can take his life story with him.
Yes.
And start his new life.
Excellent, yes, and they'll all get that opportunity.
Yeah, and I suppose that you don't have much time for much else when you've got family, do you?
No, you're too busy, you're too busy, yes. And then the last thing, what about your respite vision, please? Well,
we had a prophecy back in about 96, 97 that we would provide a home for burnt out pastors.
Right.
And of course I was just a new Christian back then. I had no idea what any of the prophecy really meant. And so, we just knew that living up here in the Whitsundays is just so gorgeous that we want to share it with people. So having somewhere where we can invite people to, pastors that need a break, that need to be, just chill out time, it's just perfect how it's all sort of dovetailed together.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sue.
You're welcome.
This is Delma Tronson signing off for the Australian Missionary News.